Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your local experts on all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market, the latest trends, and have a little fun while doing it. We do want to say the opinions voiced on this podcast are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individuals.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, where we're putting the new in the new year, the square in square one, and putting the fresh in fresh start. Welcome back and welcome to 2026.
I think mine broke. Oh, that's good.
Let's go. Man, that was the best start to a show we've had in a while.
Tell you what.
Shout out to Missy. Missy killed that.
She did. She did. I keep asking, and go ahead and throw in the comments, would you like to hear a show that we just whisper the whole time?
Nobody wants that.
I mean, what if they do, Trent?
They don't.
But they might. It just hits different when we whisper it.
No, so stop.
Just stop. All right,
fine.
Back, guys.
I'll scrap that idea until next month at least.
Well, my New Year's resolution is posture. Happy New Year. I'm going to say it straight.
You're killing that.
You look very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's not going to work. Headlines, market movers. I mean, we've already kind of like opened the show.
No, my headline is that I'm not a skier.
Oh man,
I learned that over the break.
Yeah, we went skiing too, and it was a blast.
I really don't want to hear about it.
So
I'm just telling you.
Please.
Let me put it to you this way. Let me give you perspective on how bad it was. Okay. I had to walk down the mountain because I couldn't stay on the skis. A blue slope because I'm an idiot and went up to a blue slope instead of a whatever it is, pink or green or whatever. And I got down to the bottom and I wasn't like actively crying, but there were tears coming out of my eyes.
Yeah.
I didn't even want a beer.
You were done.
You were that done.
There was a brewery there.
Yeah, at the top. Right?
No, at the bottom.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even want a beer. It was bad. I was ready to go home.
You were ready to get out of there.
Like home.
Yeah.
Not just back to the little place we were staying.
Well, the picture of you and Lacey at the ski resort was really sweet. It was a very nice picture.
Was an hour and a half before.
Before that?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
You would not want an after picture.
Yeah. It's kind of become a New Year's tradition for us. We go to Snowshoe, West Virginia with another couple that lives here in Murfreesboro and their daughter. And it's just we have so much fun and it's just relaxing but at the same time it's tenuous, like it works your leg muscles and your core.
No, it doesn't. If you don't stay on your feet, it doesn't work your leg muscles at all.
So I'll tell there's this one particular lift there and it's called the grab hammer lift.
It sounds awful.
And it is awful. It comes in hot, and usually the lift operators can kind of sense if there's a problem on the platform where people get on the lift, and they've got ways they can slow it down a little bit. Well, they were training new lift operators. And I'd noticed that like throughout the several days that we were there. But that last day we were there, that lift was coming in hot. And Anderson and I, to save time and get in as many runs as we could, Anderson's my 14-year-old son, we decided to ride in the singles line. So he gets on the lift. He's about 3 or 4 lift chairs ahead of me. And I'm standing next to another couple getting ready to get on. And the people in front of us go. So I go. I get up there where I'm supposed to be. But they didn't. They were kind of like slow getting up there. So when that lift chair,
I can relate to this. By the way,
when that lift chair came around, it came in hot and it swiped them clear off the platform. Looked like one of those nasty football hits where the guy's knees get taken out. You know, this thing came in and just crushed this guy's knee, swept him clear off the platform. I'm watching this and just kind of like in shock about it all happening.
So then it whacks you.
So then it whacks me and it hits my leg so hard that later that night, I was taking it was kind of the back of my calf muscle where it hit. And so I was with my phone trying to take a picture of it. So I could see if it was black and blue, and my friends were like, "What are you doing, man?" And so I showed them my calf, and they're like, "Man, you've been like running. You got those big runner's calves." I was like, "Yeah, dude." And then I showed them the other one, and they're like, "Oh no, it's just swollen. It's just swollen." I mean, it's still tender now to this day.
So me and two of my kids were on this lift, and we'd never been on a lift or dismounted a lift with skis on. And so all three of us didn't know how to get off of the lift because it doesn't stop. You just go.
Yeah.
And so we almost rode back around. Right? But instead we jumped off a little too late, and all three of us in a pile at the bottom of the little.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I should have known then. I should have just said, look, I know we can't ride back down, but I'm going to need to ride back down.
Yeah.
Wait, did all the kids go?
Oh, yeah.
Did anyone have a good time?
Judson was the only one.
I was about to say that. I bet Judson killed it.
Judson did great.
Yes.
The rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to take Judson's skiing with us next year because y'all ain't going.
Yeah. Oh no, I just won't even rent skis. We'll just sit in the lodge. I'll keep Erica and leasing company. It'll be great.
All right, let's do a real estate show.
Let's do some headlines.
All dropped off.
And they all dropped off.
Come
back.
There's 5 now, but
we scared away 9 of them.
That's a shame too, because I've got a really fun headline here, and it's how McMansions lured us into an unhappiness trap.
Ooh, I like this. Let's go.
This is an article that I read on Washington Post this morning, and so I always want to give credit to the source. If you want to read this in its entirety, go to the Washington Post and do so. But it's like, this is a great part here. It says humans aren't very good at prioritizing what makes them happy. Economists say, especially when it comes to living arrangements, we systematically overlook the costs, mortgages, commuting, maintenance, while dramatically undervaluing intangible benefits that actually dictate our happiness. Seeing our kids at night, hanging with friends, knowing our neighbors, and walking places. It's not that big houses make us unhappy. It's what we give up in pursuit of them. I was like, wow, that's profound right there, right? That's how people end up house rich and relationship poor or money poor. And so another one that it says happiness, living alone or with another person can promote isolation or loneliness. On the other, excessive crowding, about 140 square foot per person, leads to stress, anxiety, and depression. And so happiness peaks somewhere in the middle. It's almost like an inverted
Diminishing marginal utility.
It's an inverted U. So like if you're, you can be too lonely over here, but then as the house gets bigger, you start getting happier. And then, you get to that diminishing point of returns where happiness starts to go down. And it talks about, more room equals more freedom, more happiness, but they may tax your happiness at higher rates than satisfaction. The extra space returns. And then there's one thing I highlighted here. I had several screenshots, but it's clear how many of us. It's clear that many of us are asking the wrong questions rather than how big of a house can I afford. A depressing question for many. This guy says we should ask what kind of home will sustain the kind of life I want. So that's almost a segue to a pro tip right there. When you're thinking about a move, don't just think about what kind of house you want. Think about what kind of life you want and how your home can help you sustain that life and accomplish those goals, or it could possibly detract from it in other ways. I think that's a good thing for anyone who's considering a real estate purchase to consider.
So I have several thoughts on this. I'm not a Dave Ramsey fan, but I'm not like an active Dave Ramsey fan. I think he makes a lot of good points a lot of times. I don't know that you got to listen to him every single day to get those points because they're pretty simple. But one of the things that I learned, a question that you ask or can ask yourself when you're kind of evaluating, this is a great time of year, right, to sit down and ask this question, is who do you work for, right? So if I asked you that question, you would immediately say, I'm at Premise Mortgage,
right?
Belinda's my boss, blah, 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 whatever, right? Okay. That's not really the question. The real question is, who do you work for?
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning and you put on your shoes and you button your shirt up or whatever, and you walk out the door, who is it that you're going to work for? Right. The other kind of more popular way to ask that question now is, what's your why? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yep. That's immediately where my mind.
Yeah. It's the same concept. So when I wake up in the morning and I choose to prospect or not prospect, who is it that I'm working for? Well, I'm working for my kids. I'm working for my wife. I'm working for all of those things. Well, if the answer to that question is, 70% of my income goes to my mortgage, you're working for the mortgage company.
Yeah. So if that home provides your family the happiness and you the happiness that you want, and it doesn't detract from the other places, then maybe that's okay.
Maybe.
But maybe that's too much.
Yeah. And, and then you start to look at, and this is something that, man, we have learned this lesson in spades these last almost 2 years now. We went from a house that was upper modest, right? So like 2,700 square feet, not a huge house, but certainly not a small house. And in that house, that was a good amount of space that we had. There were a few things that could have been laid out better, or whatever, right? But people could get away from each other, but we still saw each other every day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're renting one of our own houses right now. We moved into about 900 square feet.
Yeah.
With, sometimes as many as 6 people plus a mother-in-law in the backyard and her motorhome plus 3 dogs. And it's tight.
Yeah.
Like it's tight. And that causes a different kind of stress.
Yeah.
Well, the house that we're renovating is larger. And Lisa and I have talked on multiple occasions about, when we get into this bigger house, are we ever even going to see our kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's easy to disappear in a bigger house.
And boy, when they get to those teenage years, they're
in their teenage years.
That's all they want to do. They just want to disappear. Sometimes I love it when we get a game night where we all are sitting around the kitchen table playing a game together.
Sure.
And it's not too hard to get our son down the hall for that, because he gets it, and he kind of craves that too. But then to get him to get the yes from him that he'll play is one thing. Getting him to come out of his room within 45 minutes to start the game is another proposition. Yeah.
And for us, and leave electronics behind and, focus on being present.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man, is we say, like me and you were sitting here talking about how hard it is to get our kids to do that, when the reality is sometimes the biggest culprit of not doing that is this guy right here.
Sure. Well, think about it from a house standpoint. When you're sitting down with home buyers and they're like, "Hey, what do you want in your home?" And they're like, "Well, a formal dining room, maybe, or
this style of a kitchen."
You look at these luxury homes, right? You get, we want a theater, we want a formal dining room, we want a separate office, we want a game room, or a big
covered
bonus
deck,
room,
or
outdoor kitchen. And I think it's funny, because I think the outdoor kitchen might actually not be as big of a culprit, but a lot of those interior spaces, like the formal dining room or a game room or a theater, those kinds of things, they just become more places to hide. But actually, they don't even really get used. They just become more places for storage and clutter, which is, you talk about comparison is a thief of joy. Another big thief of joy is clutter. And I think clutter leads to a lot of stress. And I look at our formal dining room that has been converted to an office for Erica, and how cluttered it is. I think it has been cleaned out. We've been in our house for 12 years. I think that room has been cleaned out to the point where we would feel comfortable opening all the doors so that our guests could see in that room maybe like 3 times. It's wild, and it's a room that gets used every day because it's where we dock our computers. It's like our office.
A catch-all.
But it's a catch-all.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very interesting, and the term McMansions is a relatively new term, maybe 20 years or less, and it is fascinating, and I think for me the big takeaway from that article is to ask better questions to get people into homes that they're actually happy in. Right. Yeah. And so I think a good question is, how do you live and how do you want to live? Yeah. Right. And how do you envision? And
broaden that. So when the answers start coming back in, not just live in the home, but how do you live outside the home? Do you want to travel? Well, if you want to travel, I've got a really good friend who is in the real estate business. And this person was talking about this house was coming on that they think is going to be a really good investment, and it's going to be an up and coming area. I'm really thinking about doing it. But, so I was waiting for the application. I was waiting and followed up. I'm not going to do it. And there's other things that I want to do. Yeah. And if I have that mortgage payment, I won't be able to travel. I won't be able to go out. I won't be able to do the things I want to do. I'm happy where I am. It's enough for me, and I want to stay put.
Well, so where I was going with that also is some of that I already integrate into my conversation. And we got to be real careful about mortgage lenders, because the question when you guys typically, and I'm not saying you specifically, but your side of the industry, when you qualify someone, you typically say, I can qualify you up to blank. Let's say $500,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So I always tell them, look, Bryan or whomever is going to tell you that they can qualify you up to a certain dollar amount. Okay. And that's going to translate to a payment. Mm-hmm. Okay. What your job is, consumer, is to look at that payment and say, just because I can, does that mean that I should?
Yeah.
Right. And that's where those life quality questions come in. But then also, how do you live in your home, and how do you want to live in your home? I've said this for years and years. I need to understand, and my side of the industry needs to understand, that we're not selling a tangible product. Mm-hmm. We're selling a concept. We're selling a lifestyle. We're selling happiness ultimately, right?
Yeah.
And so when I say, what do you want in a home? And they start saying, 3,500 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, whatever. Well, that's a product. Okay. Yeah. That's easy. I can plug that into a MLS search. Yeah. It's a database, piece of cake, right? Yeah. But how do you live in your home? What do you actually want in your home?
Yeah.
Right. Well, we entertain a lot. Well, do you actually entertain a lot, or do you want to entertain a lot?
Do you like the idea of entertaining a lot?
Exactly. We really want, we won't anything that has smaller than a such and such backyard, because my kids will want to play in the backyard. Well, do they actually play in the backyard, or are they like my kids and they played in the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
And that's an important question, because if you have a huge backyard and you live on a busy street and your kids really just want to ride their bikes in the road,
then you need
need a cul-de-sac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is not a question that, like, I'm not going to judge you on it or anything like that. And I'm not going to try to set your budget higher than what it should be. But you need to ask yourself those, honest questions, because it's your happiness. Just what your article said. It's your happiness.
Every once in a while, I'll catch a customer who will say something like, thank you for asking us these questions, and not just telling us, because we talked with such and such online lender, and then they told us that we could get approved for a $650,000 house, but we kept telling them that's not what we want, and that's not the first place that my process takes me. The first conversation that we have is, and it's funny, because we think about the used car industry, this is a bad thing, but my first conversation is, what are you comfortable with for a monthly mortgage payment? And it's not because I'm trying to fit a car into that budget, right? That's what used car salesmen do, but that helps me know where to start my process and just say, okay, well, have you looked at any houses where that payment's going? And that question gives me so much information, because I'll know instantly if we're working with someone who has pipe dreams, is unrealistic, or is completely out of the stratosphere on what their expectations are. Mm-hmm. And so we can kind of work towards getting them to the right purchase price. For example, this week I have someone who applied for a $1.5 million loan. No money for down payment, struggling to make a $24 a month rent. Like,
just not going to happen.
So
and nor should it.
Nor should it, right? And so, but what they want is acreage. They want a place for horses. They want all these things. Well, okay, not saying no, never, but definitely no, not right now. So we get to the right place where they can have a realistic budget that works for what they want. And they just don't know, right? And this isn't a knock. This isn't a judgment. They just don't correlate purchase price and down payment, because, hey, if you want a $1,200 a month mortgage payment, you want to buy a $1.5 million piece of property, we can do that if you have a lot of money for down payment.
Right.
But you got to have, we're not necessarily, and I tell people sometimes, it's not often that I'll say this, but sometimes I'll say, it's not so much that I'm improving you for a purchase price as much as I'm improving you for a loan amount. So if there's resources available to you, gift from a family member, going to a retirement account, selling another asset, if we can get you approved for a purchase of X, but I can only give you a loan for this much of it. The rest of it has to come from another source.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's good stuff, man. That's a good conversation. What's next, Trent?
Oh, snap. I don't have a This Is Real, sorry.
Oh, well, just make one up.
It's really bad. It's a really bad picture on the TV.
Let's take this as a This Is Real. There are still
sorry guys,
MLS listings. Still, I saw one yesterday.
0 pictures.
No, it had one picture.
Oh.
It had a picture.
Which?
And it was a really bad picture taken of the front of the house, and that was it. Now, I mean, at least I had one. I have not seen one in a while that has no pictures. Some new construction sometimes will just have like a blueprint or something like that, and that's whatever. There's not really literally nothing to take a picture of, right? The ones that are misleading on new construction to me are the pictures of the model home, and the one being built in anything like it, and that happens sometimes too. But
I had an epiphany this past week.
Hang on one second. Okay. So what I do want to say with a blank screen up there is that almost as bad, maybe even worse than a blank screen, is really bad pictures.
Yeah.
And so the whole point of a This Is Real is it's very tongue in cheek. It's very funny. Like we can't even believe that somebody would do something like that. The reality is, y'all, if you spend any time on the MLS, you're going to see that.
Yeah.
So consumers, listen to me. Listen very carefully. Do not ever tolerate that. Do not ever tolerate that.
Yeah.
You're paying that agent, even if it's a flat fee company, you are paying that agent to market your home. And if they put the kind of pictures that we show on This Is Real up, they are not marketing your home.
Yeah.
They are hurting your home.
Yep.
They are hurting your asset.
Yeah.
Do not tolerate it.
It's not acceptable.
It's not.
Right? It's just
look, y'all, it's way too easy to not do that now.
Yeah.
It's way too easy to not do that.
The epiphany that I had is that we laugh at these pictures. Sometimes, these pictures are coming from all over the country. They're not coming from our MLS. They're coming from all the place. And there's some, and being where I was last week in southern Arkansas, and 2 hours from Interstate 40 to the north, 2 hours from Interstate 20 to the south, right smack dab in the middle of nowhere, rural America. No industry. It's a dying town. And just driving around the town, we see a house listed for sale, and man, just holes in windows, roofs that have holes, invisible holes in them, and I'm like, and I went to This Is Real in my mind. I was like, what would you do if you had a listing in a town like that, and you needed to present the home as it is, right? So I don't know what the answer to that is. A real estate agent, like if we're not in that kind of town, we're not in that kind of economy.
I've listed houses like that before, though. Right. I mean, especially through 2009 all the way to 12 or 13, I listed tons of houses like that. And here's what I'll tell you. You show the house, you show the high points of the house, and you're realistic with it. Now, am I going to go take a picture of the huge spot of mold? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But I have to disclose that it's there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I believe, and not everybody does, okay, that you give a realistic preview of the house that they're going to walk through. And there's a little bit of philosophy behind this. And I also believe that you put the pictures in the order that somebody would walk through the house.
Yeah.
If you shoot a video, you shoot the video the way that somebody would walk through the house, so that when they show up to the house and they walk through, you can almost always tell how somebody will tour the house. Mm-hmm. If you've ever shown houses, you can tell. So my pictures are in the same order. My videos are in the same order. That I would walk somebody through the house. Yeah. So that when they walk through, what is the number one thing that somebody says when they decide to write an offer? This is the one. It just feels right.
Yeah.
Well, feels right is typically, it feels familiar.
Yeah.
It feels familiar. So if the pictures are in the same order, the video is in the same order, and then I show it in the same order.
I feel like they've seen it before they saw it.
That's exactly
it's
right.
Familiar.
So I want that familiarity. Right now, do I avoid a hole in the roof? It depends, man. I mean, sometimes you just show it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just show it.
Yeah.
And you just disclaim, hey, this house needs a lot of work.
Well, and I wonder, like, I think a lot of the This Is Real pictures probably come from listings like that. And hey, we're not going to stop doing it. It's fun.
It's super fun.
And some of them are not from the houses. I mean, a lot of the ones that are the This Is Real are not from like dilapidated, fallen.
No, they look like they're nice houses, but it's like, what are you thinking?
The decorating and the and the choices that they've made and the way to present it are hilarious. So anyway, how about that? A little philosophical discussion into This Is Real. You don't usually get that in this segment.
No. Thanks for having a blank screen, Trent.
No, that got deep.
You lazy bum.
Completely sorry. Sorry about that. What else we got?
Shiny penny pro tip.
Which one?
I don't care.
Pro tip.
Okay.
Oh, I know. All right. So, pro tip, and this will segue a little bit into the shiny penny as well. Pro tip is this: if you don't know, please ask. Okay, please. And conventional wisdom very often is wrong. I'm especially when it comes to real estate stuff. And here's where this is coming from. I have to like squeeze the story just a little bit because I don't want to reveal any names or anything. Okay. Multi-generational housing is a thing. Kids will move in with their parents, especially if their parents their health starts to fail, that kind of thing. Or sometimes they move the parents in with the whatever, right? Yeah. But oftentimes life circumstances happen where, maybe a kid gets divorced. So, single, parents' health is failing kind of at the same time. So it just makes sense for a kid to move in with parent. And what we see this happen often is the kid will or all three of them might make the decision that we're going to add the kid to the title of the home. We're going to quit claim to add that person to the deed, right? And it's in the name of making things easier, quote unquote. It does not make things easier.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. Now, there might be circumstances where that makes sense. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know of any. Okay. Yeah. What I do know is that anything that you need to accomplish to make things easier can be accomplished with a power of attorney and a real will.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need.
That's what you need. You need
That's all you need.
Yeah.
And a power of attorney.
Yeah.
Right. Especially if they're, and you need to get the power of attorney done. If they're working on dementia or whatever, you need to get that power of attorney done pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay. But anything that you need to get done can be accomplished with those two things. Mm-hmm. Everything that you need to get done can be accomplished with those two things. And if you quit claim it over to if you get it quit claimed, you could really, really hurt yourself as far as selling that property, capital gains tax.
I was going to say capital, you lose the stepped up basis.
You lose stepped up basis, and you still have to submit to 10-care. So, I mean, it can get ugly, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, please ask. Call me. I may not know the answer. I can give you a little bit of the answer. Brian can probably give you a little bit of the answer. But we will get you to the right person.
We know people that we will get you to who will give you the information and the service that you deserve.
That's it. And usually a lot of the people that I know, if I refer you, they're not going to charge you for an answer. Now, if you go beyond an answer, they should. That's their livelihood.
That's what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's just a real simple question, they're not going to charge you for that.
Yeah.
So ask the question. And the only dumb question is the one you don't ask.
It's a great pro tip.
Really good.
Shiny penny?
Yeah. Shiny penny.
No, shiny penny. Back to you.
Start talking?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Trent.
We're good at this.
Hey, here's a shiny penny. I had a recruiter call me yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah, and she asked me if she could take me to coffee or breakfast next Thursday, and I was like, I'm going to tell you, I'd probably turn you down your invitation. I would turn you down your invitation regardless because I'm happy where I am, but I specifically can't do it on Thursdays because I have a networking group in the meeting, followed immediately by this podcast, which puts me behind the morning. So all the rest of the afternoon is all catching up, right?
Sure.
And she said, "Oh, you have a podcast? I want to watch it." I was like, "Well, if you watch it, you're probably not going to want to hire me after you see it."
Shiny penny.
So recruiter, if you're watching,
We are so professional.
yeah, if you're watching, what do you think?
Comment below.
That's awesome. So when I get recruited like that, and it happens a couple times a year, you know, when I get recruited like that, I always say yes.
Yeah.
100% of the time. I'm going to spend your money for you. Absolutely. I will spend your money for you. And also it's good to peek in on the competition sometimes.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will always spend your money. So if you call there's other mortgage lenders that'll call me sometimes. They're like, "Hey, can I take you to lunch and tell you what I do?" And I'm like, yeah, you sure can. Absolutely, I'll spend your money. 100%. You can buy me drinks too if you want. It'd be great.
Oh,
That's great.
So no,
Is that the shiny penny?
it might be. No, that's a pro tip right there. Yeah, pro tip
for the industry.
Spend their money. The shiny penny is this. So Missy and I met yesterday, and we put together kind of a game plan for 2026. And one of the things that's involved in there is more of this kind of stuff. So if you don't get our monthly like hard copy mailed newsletter and you'd like to, please comment. That's one. The second is she's going to start kind of blogging those newsletters. So make sure you check out that. And we're doing, don't worry, I just got anxiety even attempting to say what I'm about to say. Okay. We're going to do a monthly text as well that has some pretty cool links in it. And we've got a game plan together, and she's curating some stuff. It's going to be worth it.
Great.
And we're not going to spam you to death. I promise. Cross my heart, needle in the eye, all that stuff. Okay. But the other thing that came out of that conversation, we've been talking about this for about 6 months, and we're finally putting it together. We are going to start a J Harmon home team, and I don't remember now what the handle is that we decided on, TikTok page. Okay. And in that, we're going to do some short, helpful videos that are helpful for real estate professionals, but also consumers. And so that situation that I just outlined in my pro tip, we will do a video that kind of addresses that. Cool. They're not going to be long. They're not going to be long-winded. They're not going to be a podcast. Just some short, punchy stuff that'll help. So be on the lookout for that. My goal is to get us to, I think you have to have 1,000 followers on there in order to do TikTok live. And so my goal would be to get to the point where we can do a weekly TikTok live where you can just come in and ask questions.
Awesome. Missy just sent it. The handle is TN Real Estate 615.
There it is.
So I might have to get TikTok so I can follow this.
Go follow. We got to get to 1,000.
1,000. That's it. TN Real Estate 615.
Yeah.
Booyah.
I like that.
All right, I think that's a show. We got to get over to, hey, shout out to ML Rose. Craft Burgers. They're ribbon cuttings in 20 minutes. So
20 minutes. We'll be there. It's only 10 minutes away.
Head that direction.
Yeah. A couple things at Cedar Glade real quick. Hey, if I own it, we might as well talk about it.
Absolutely.
We've got our two things. We've got our songwriter qualifying round. So it's an annual songwriter competition that we participate in, and we're a qualifying round. The ultimate winner gets to be in a showcase at the Bluebird. It's pretty sweet. We've got 15 out of 16 slots filled.
Wow.
With songwriters. So there's one slot open, I think. If you are a songwriter, go grab that last slot, please. It is January 25th, Sunday, January 25th at 1 o'clock here in the tap room. And it's cool, man. We turn it into a listening room. I'll sit at the door, lock the door while people are performing, so that, we want it quiet. We want the performer to be able to focus.
So if it starts at 1, get here at 12:30.
Yes, and it gets full in there, and it's a blast, dude. It's a lot of fun. So there's that one, and then my second favorite party of the year. My first favorite is St. Patty's Day, of course, but my second favorite party is January 31st. It is our second Mardi Gras party. Tennessee Craft Butcher will be back. They will be smoking a gator again, amongst several other things. King Bon Tom will be back. We're getting the king cake next week to dump in the beer. And the Maeve with, is it Book and Bone? We'll be doing palm readings and where you throw the bones or whatever. And then Bill Stieber will be here as well, doing his own Delta Blues stylings. It's gonna be a good time.
That's gonna be great because I don't think we had Bill last year. We did.
Oh yeah, he had the tall hat and everything. It was great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun time. So that's it, Trent.
Awesome. Good job. Happy 2026, y'all. Looking forward to a great year. We'll see you. Okay, we're gone.
Thank you for listening to another episode of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your go-to resource for all things real estate in Tennessee. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We will see you all on the next one.
Now for the nitty-gritty. Primus Mortgage Company is a subsidiary of Primus Bank, a member FDIC, Mortgage NMLS number 1894879, PK number 1042893, ML number 1894879. As always, all loans are subject to credit approval and product guide equals housing lender.